Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. And here is Munir Lazouzi from easymedicaldevice.com. And today we will do the April 2025 regulatory update. First, let's start with our sponsor, MedBoard. So who is MedBoard?
MedBoard, the regulatory research and intelligence platform, is focused on solving the problem with increasing news and data and new requirements as regulatory intelligence, post-market surveillance, clinical literature review, and many more. We are making trusted medtech information and data more accessible, creating the largest information portal search and the best tools for review, intelligence, and portfolio management. We are already changing people's lives like you by reducing tedious manual and repetitive work or saving much time. Contact us at medboard.com to learn more about us and do a free trial.
Okay, let's start first with Europe. So what's happening in Europe? So first there is a Team NB press release that was issued talking about certificates under condition. So maybe when people are hearing that, like I give you a certificate but there is a condition for it, means maybe a negative thought, but to be honest it's maybe a good thing also. So here the idea is to help mainly manufacturers of breakthrough devices about high technology, if I can say, or new technologies, to reach the market quicker, because instead of asking them to provide a lot of proofs or documents or whatever, knowing that those products are quite new on the market, so they cannot provide everything at once. So the idea here is like, okay, we verify that mainly the product is safe for everybody, but we give you the certificate under a condition that mainly you are performing a post-market clinical follow-up, you are doing another clinical investigation for something, or you are, they give you some idea of what they are expecting from you, so that you can provide that to them in due time, so that they can continue to keep this certificate alive. So I think this is a good thing. So if you want to understand more about that, so Team NB, as I've said, has released a press release. So if you hear someone saying, oh yeah, we'll give you the certificate under condition, it can be also a good thing. So don't always already jump to him and say, oh no, I wanted a final one, because this can be one way to help high technology or new technology manufacturers to reach the market quicker and to somehow that the notified body gives you some kind of trust to say these guys will be doing a good job, so let's work with them and help them and work with them for getting the product on the market. We know you don't have all the data, but we'll give you that under condition that you provide those data in a later stage. So this is a good thing. So just check that and let me know also if you think it's a good thing. Okay, if you remember, we had for medical devices class 2B that were injecting drugs or removing drugs from the body, plus class 3 and implantables. We had what we call an expert panel. So mainly this is a panel of people that will be reviewing your clinical data and everything on that. Now they created the kind of expert panel for artificial intelligence. So it's called the European Artificial Intelligence Office. So it's not the EMA who is managing that, but it's the European Artificial Intelligence Office that will be managing mainly the devices that contain some artificial intelligence. And it's mainly for high-risk devices, so it's not all devices. So if your product is considered as class 3 diagnostic high-risk devices, etc., that maybe it will be going through that. So it's the same principle that mainly it's mandatory for any AI company to maybe get maybe reviewed by this expert panel. So don't be surprised. I just have a doubt in terms of if this is already in place or if there is some due date, but I just got this information, so I will check maybe that. But yeah, so don't be surprised if your notified body says mainly, oh, you have also to go through this AI expert panel, because this is something that Europe is doing, also maybe due to also the AI Act that they are putting in place and that they need also to enforce. So this is something that is important for you to understand. So if you are making AI, there is an extra step again for you before you can get on the market. Next, it's the UK who invented, so we had SAMD, software as a medical device, we had SIMD, software in a medical device, now we have AI AMD, artificial intelligence as a medical device. So mainly this is the UK getting more involved in terms of the regulation for artificial intelligence also. And here it's a bit the contrary of what Europe is doing, because here what they are saying is, say, let's put less law and put more guidances. So it's more about the other way to say, instead of putting more law and less guidances, so let's put less law and more guidances to be more flexible, so that they can maybe help you more and provide you more things. And also I think it's flexibility also for the manufacturers to have some bandwidth, if I can say, to work with their products without being compressed by some laws. So I think it's a good initiative. So if you are willing to go to the UK with an artificial intelligence, so maybe this announcement will be important. So go to the show notes and check that with the UK government. Okay, clinical study. It's always a nightmare, clinical study, because mainly one of the things I was working with a lot of companies for clinical study, and one of the things I discovered is that each country has its own rules, if I can say so. Some have one department that will take care of everything. Some have two departments, one for this, one for that. And I was mainly involved on that for example, for companion diagnostics, where you have a drug and a device. So then the diagnostic tool mainly. And then how is it working when you are submitting both together for a clinical study? Is it one office? Is it two offices, etc.? So there are a lot of issues here. So what you have to understand is that, as I said, each country has its own rules. I don't remember, but I think on the previous regulatory update, we talked about a pilot that will be initiated for mainly a clinical study, so that a lot of countries will agree in one group to follow the same rule for clinical study. So you don't have to go to all the countries. So you have one office for application, and then it will go to all different countries. Here we have still not that for the moment. So here I would propose to you to check the requirements for registration of your clinical study in Spain and in Belgium. So you'll see maybe there are some differences here, but I just give you two examples. But you can also go to any competent authority and you'll find out the rules for their country. If you go to France or Germany or whatever, they have all their own rules. We hope that everybody will follow the same rule at the end, but for the moment, each one is a bit disconnected. So even Switzerland, they have also published a lot of guidances about how to register their clinical investigation in Switzerland. So just check that also. Okay, we have the SHEAR, which has discussed about the brain stimulators. So if you remember, we have brain stimulators mainly for medical purposes here. We have again also some brain stimulation under Annex 16 of the IMDRF, which talk about non-medical device purpose. And here the SHEAR is finding out that there are more and more brain stimulators used in a non-medical way, which apparently create some risks. And then they decide now to maybe increase the regulation for brain stimulators on the non-medical way. So which means that manufacturers that maybe are actually not knowing about that because they are not listening to my podcast because they are not a medical device company, they will become or follow some medical device rules because of that, which I think is normal, but which I'm a bit not understanding also if this is disconnected from the Annex 16, because for me brain stimulators are already mentioned in Annex 16, so they have already to follow the UMDR for certain elements. So here I'm not really sure. I read it quickly, so I'm not really sure if there is some connection here with what MDR is doing. So it's why they are increasing that, or they are just remembering those companies that mainly they will have to follow some extra rules. Or maybe they will create some extra rules, so we will see that. But so if you are making some brain stimulators, or if you know some companies making some brain stimulators for non-medical purpose, some recreational purpose, or some relaxation, or I don't know what, so mainly tell them that the authorities will come to you. I mean, Europe creates always legislation for everything, so it's why don't wait for it. Get an understanding of what is written on the documentation, and then anticipate everything before the law is catching you. Okay, IMDRF is releasing a document related to reliance. Reliance is mainly the maybe utopia that everybody will rely on everybody. So like if I register my products in Europe, so then certain countries will accept this type of registration, so there is no need for me to register again with other countries. So it's like relying on another country. It's something that is getting more and more in Africa, for example. We talked, I think, about that with when we talked about South Africa, because South Africa was part of some programs like that. So the idea is mainly that countries are agreeing together, and if you register in one country, or maybe there is one office that will take everything, and if you get approved by this office, then all the countries that are part of it will be then approving your device or registering your device. So this is great because mainly, you know, the bureaucracy of registration. So you go in one country, they ask for 10 documents, in another it's 20 documents, in another it's 3 documents. So at the end, it's like restart the job every time. So if you can have a reliance, will be great. But here, it's mainly this document is mainly for regulators. It's not for medical device manufacturers. But medical device manufacturers can benefit from it just to understand what is reliance and how it's working. Because mainly, as I've said, some countries are already adopting such things. And we talked a lot about that during the AFRI Summit. If you are part of the AFRI Summit, we talk a lot about that because they, as I've said, Africa are really relying a lot on this. So it's good to have that. Hoping this will inspire a lot of countries to then align and work together to then have one regulation, or not one because it's utopia, as I said, but mainly that they will rely on each other so that you can access more markets with one dossier instead of making 10 dossiers for 10 markets. So it's mainly the idea. Okay, so we talked maybe last month or the month before, I can't remember, about pilot advice expert panel. So the idea was mainly that we have some expert panel mandatory for some products, but here it's more about having those expert panels giving advice to all companies. Here the pilot was mainly for high-risk devices, class 3 or high-risk devices, and this was a pilot, and apparently it was really successful. It was really great. The result was good. The feedback also from manufacturers was really great, and they want to extend that also. So if you are a high-risk device and you want to get to the EU market, so don't hesitate to use this advice expert panel. I think it will be looking like the Q-Sub for the US, or the breakthrough device for the US, where they are helping you. But mainly, as I said, it's for high-risk devices. So maybe if you are a low-risk device, it's not really meant for you. And apparently, for the moment, it's still free of charge. So it's a good thing, because everything costs a lot of money with EU MDR. So something free, I think you have to jump on it. So yeah, I put the link on the show notes, so you just go there and check the results or the feedbacks, and maybe if you are interested, then you can apply for it also. Okay, Team NB is initiating. Team NB were initiating a lot of trainings on technical documentation. Now they created one for clinical training. So as I've told you many times, the most difficult part of the EU MDR is the clinical part, because clinical investigation or clinical evaluation are something that is really scrutinized by the notified bodies. So if you don't understand how to do that, how to write that, or how to create that, this can be maybe a problem for you. So then they create this training. It will be in May 7th, 2025. So go again on the show notes and you check mainly this. And yeah, I think it could be good to understand that, even if you are not maybe an expert in clinical, if you just are a quality or regulatory affairs person and will use those clinical data for the technical file or whatever, this can be also great to participate to that, just to understand more what is a clinical, how maybe even when you are recruiting the people like consultants that are doing the clinical evaluation documentation, you know exactly what they have to do, what they should do, so that you are not there is no kind of way to trick you, if I can say, on this kind of thing. So don't hesitate to go to this training, May 7, 2025, and you have all the information on the show notes. Okay, so Easy Medical Device, as I said, we are a consulting firm. We are trying to help all the medical device manufacturers to create their technical file, to do a lot of work in also authorized representative for UK, Europe, and EU. We are also providing support for the quality management system creation, for laboratory search, for things. And we are also helping for registration of your products all over the world. So we try now to network with a lot of consulting firms all over the world to then be able to offer this service of, if you want to register in Latin America, so we can help you. If you want to register in Southeast Asia, we can help you. If you want to register in, I don't know, in Africa, we can help you. So you just let us know where you want to register, and we can maybe do it, or we can help you to do it with some of our consultants that are in the region, and then we can satisfy you for this kind of thing. So don't hesitate to check that on our website, easymedicaldevice.com, or send us an email at info@easymedicaldevice.com, info@easymedicaldevice.com. Okay, so now let's go to the rest of the world. First, we start with USA. So they have issued a guidance specifically for sex-specific data in clinical study. So what they are mentioning mainly is that somehow there are some data missing on some clinical study about the data for sex-specific, so mainly female or male. And now they are asking or recommending, or highly recommending you to always have a parity, if I can say, or some balance in terms of sex, female and male, to then have your clinical study approved. So I think when you are applying with your ID, for example, in the US, they will also verify these points. And if you cannot justify why you haven't included more or some female or some male on your study, because maybe the device is specific for male and they cannot work on female, so maybe it's the reason. But if it can work on both female and male, so you should have like a balance between both things. And even after, on the post-market surveillance, we have again to continue to gather those data and to provide those data also. So this is mainly what this guidance is talking about. So mainly the US FDA says do it, or maybe we'll refuse your clinical study. So check this specifically if you have a product that, as I've said, is made also for both sex. So you cannot just say, oh, I will take just 10 male and 50 or 60 female. You have really to find a balance. Why this, and then justify that to the FDA. Okay, next one is Brazil UDI creation, if I can say. So mainly we had UDI starting in the US, then we have Europe, then we have SFDA, we have Australia, I think China also is starting with UDI, etc. Now also Brazil. So mainly they are making a consultation that is open now for review for Brazil UDI. So if you are planning to register your product in Brazil, or you have already registered your product in Brazil, maybe you should consult that, because if the UDI is mandatory, or there will be some dates mainly there, because if I remember, I saw that there are some dates per classification also. So this can be maybe impacting your device, and you can still comment on it. So there is a consultation open, so don't forget to do that. Okay, now I'm talking maybe to notified bodies or to approved bodies that are all over the world. Malaysia is explaining how you can become also a conformity assessment body, so CAB. Mainly to register your products in Malaysia, you have to do the same as for Europe. You have to use a conformity assessment body that will be then used to give an assessment of your products. Here the idea was, maybe a notified body doesn't need to register as a conformity assessment body because they are already a notified body. But no, they have, even if you are a notified body, even if you are an approved body, you still have to get to the point of registration of your company within the Malaysia to be a conformity assessment body, and you have to have an office in Malaysia also. So there are some conditions for all this. So I think it's an opportunity for some manufacturers, for some certification body, notified body, approved body, any bodies that want mainly to access also the Malaysian market, because as I've said, if you want to sell your products in Malaysia, you'll have also to go through those bodies, and then you'll have to get some approval for that. So don't hesitate to go also on the guidance that is provided by the Malaysian authority, because I think it's well done, well explained, with a lot of decision trees also. So don't hesitate to go there and then verify if you are a notified body or a certification body or a conformity or an approved body. Approved body, and what is for MDSAP, what was it again? Auditing organization, maybe auditing organization, yeah. So you see, each region of the world has its own name. So, but auditing organization for MDSAP. So if you want, then you can also be a certification, a conformity assessment body by Malaysia. Okay, Saudi Arabia now is providing a guidance for ISO 13485 alignments. So I looked at it and said, oh, great, it will be showing you how Saudi Arabia is aligning with ISO 13485. But no, it's the other way around. It's more how your ISO 13485 should be aligned with Saudi Arabia. It looks exactly the same as MDSAP. Mainly, when you go for MDSAP, the main basis or backbone of MDSAP is ISO 13485. But if you go to the US, there are some specific requirements for the US market. If you go to Canada, there are some specific requirements for the Canada market, but the backbone is still the same. Here is the same. You have still the backbone, which is ISO 13485, but there is some specific country requirements for Saudi Arabia, and then you have also to include them inside your quality management system, like how to register your products in Saudi Arabia, the authorized representative in Saudi Arabia, the documentation in Saudi Arabia. I mean, all those things that should be done for Saudi Arabia. So you have then to have also those information inside your quality management system, and Saudi Arabia can also audit you. So it's what they are mentioning mainly, that they can also get you audited for that. So it's not only a notified body that can audit you, it's also Saudi Arabia SFDA authorities. So Singapore has created a cybersecurity best practice. So it's a document that is looking really great, mainly showing a lot of things about what normally a medical device should go through for cybersecurity. This document is just a draft for the moment. It's under consultation until May 12th, 2025. So again, go on the show notes and look at this document. And if you are really working on cybersecurity, it can be a good guide to explain to you how to execute cybersecurity for a medical device, for example. So this is mainly the idea here, because we have a lot of cybersecurity companies that say, we know cybersecurity, but when we say, but medical devices have their specific requirements in terms of documentation and everything, then they are more like, I don't know about that. So here it can help you to understand more about that. Okay, now podcast. So what's happening in the podcast world? So first episode 328, which is with Darren Carlson, which was about what are the top 3 FDA inspection issues. So Darren has a lot of experience also with some of the FDA things, and also reviewed FDA publicly, if I can say, or provide those information. So then they are sharing the information about what are the main issues, and Darren is also explaining how mainly you would solve this issue, what you should do, how you will involve your team for doing that. So if you are selling in the US and if you have never been audited, so mainly it could be a good thing to know, because this is low-hanging fruits for the FDA, because they know that everybody or majority have issues in this field. So check that with Darren Carlson. Next one, episode 329. What if the notified body asks you, is your software validated? It's the nightmare question result from notified body. Is your software validated? Oh, which software? Well, but I just purchased it, so it's not new, developed that yet, but is it still validated? So we talk about that mainly with Tibor. So mainly you can really verify the answers that you provide, or how you can be on the safe side if you are using some software. So we don't talk about all software. It's many software used in your production, in the quality field, etc. We don't talk about everything, but we also talk about the famous Excel sheet. So should you validate the famous Excel sheet? So this is mainly what is provided here on this episode. So don't hesitate to look at them again. Okay, it was a pleasure to have you for this regulatory update. So I hope you enjoy them and you have a lot of benefit from it. And if you need also some support, as I said, for your project, for quality and regulatory affairs project for medical devices, don't hesitate to contact us, and I'm sure we'll be able to help you. So don't hesitate to send me a message or an email at info@easymedicaldevice.com. info@easymedicaldevice.com. Thank you.